plus. They're moving in the right direction for sure. 5-7 is not a bad record for Vanderbilt, especially when your line's 2.5. So
they're getting to the point now, though. No kidding, they're getting to the point where they can actually start testing some of the lower tier teams in the SEC, like Missouri. I think they gave South Carolina a little bit of a run this year.
They did.
So, they're getting to the point where they can actually start competing. So, who's the coach there? Their coach is good.
I'll have to look because like the last coach I remember they had was Derek Mason.
I don't really follow them anymore.
Picture of Vandy when they stormed the field after upsetting Kentucky.
So good.
And there's maybe 3,000 people on the field.
Well, and not only that, they weren't storming the field. They were
slowly
walking like they were going to a bus stop. That's where they were going.
And they still found a way to find them.
Oh, they did get fined for that?
Yeah, they did. And not only that, that's their second offense. They got paid. There was $100,000 for that.
How are you gonna fine them for having 3,000 people on the field, dude? Our A-Day class picture was bigger than that.
All right, let's move on. So we're not going to cover every team. I just want to cover the notable ones. All right, we got to start with, I would say, the biggest disappointment of the SEC this year. Preseason ranked number 6, had the number 1 recruiting class in the country, had the highest paid coach in the country. We're talking Texas A&M Aggies. This team was just a total roller coaster the whole year, guys. I mean, this team came out, they were supposed to, compete for a college football playoff. Desmond Howard picked them to go to the national championship. I think he picked them to win the national championship.
Yeah.
They lose week 2 to an Appalachian State team that didn't even make a bowl game at home.
That they paid to come there.
That they paid. And then back-to-back weeks, they beat Miami, who was 13th at the time, which Miami lost to Middle Tennessee State. And then they had a crazy back-and-forth game with Arkansas, which Arkansas was another team that was a little disappointing. And then they go on to lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games in a row. All SEC. They lost to Mississippi State. Controversial-ish call in the last play of the game against Alabama without Bryce Young. They lose this at South Carolina. They get beat by Ole Miss. They lose to Florida. They lose at Auburn. And then they close the year out beating UMass and upsetting number 5 LSU. And this team is just so I don't understand this team. They have talent. They have a coach who's supposed to be a top 5, top 10 coach. They have the number 1 recruiting class. This team got this record due to high expectations after beating Bama last year, and it clearly shows that. This team, I give this team an F. Yeah. I you can't start the season off preseason number 6. And look, it's okay. If they go 9-3, maybe they finish the season in the top 25, and you still beat LSU, but you're supposed to beat Auburn. You're supposed to beat Ole Miss. You're supposed to beat Mississippi State. You're supposed to beat Appalachian State. I mean, good God, this is bad. If anything, if the highest you can give this team is a D, only because they beat LSU.
It's a great point because, like you said, give them a D, but I would give them a D if they had any kind of identity to how they want to proceed from this year. There's no story. There's nothing to really come out of this year feeling any kind of positive at all. All of your guys that you recruited last year, that got you the ranking of number 6 in the country, they're all transferring. They got their NIL money and they're heading out to USC, Ohio State. Could see some of them coming to Alabama. So it's got to be an F. Not only an F, but a 30%. You weren't even close to passing.
I'm going to give them a 40 only because they played Ole Miss tough. They beat LSU and they played Bama tough. So I'll give them a 40.
The LSU game was
that kind of
out of nowhere. That's kind of I mean, that saved it a little bit for sure. Do you think Jimbo gets fired? Do you think Jimbo gets fired if they go straight up?
I think there's talks. I 100% think there's talks.
Oh, if he doesn't turn it around next year, he's gone. He's got to be.
Yeah,
if A&M wouldn't have won, A&M would have finished with the worst record in the SEC, but behind Vanderbilt and Auburn, who fired their coach halfway through the season. And they lost to that Auburn team.
I don't know what they're gonna do now because a lot of the recruits that they got through NIL deals are taking the money and leaving.
Right.
And you have
That's the
like
thing.
recruits that are leaving, retweeting tweets that are saying that, all right, everyone that went to A&M got their bag. Now they're going to go and actually play somewhere they want to play. And it's just like, okay, well, yeah, you spent all this money to go. What was their record? 3-9, 4-8.
4-8.
You spent all that money to go 4-8, and then you're losing all of your recruiting.
Yeah, it's rough.
I'll split the dip. I give them a solid 35 just because they beat LSU.
Fair enough.
Perfect. All right, let's move on to. You know what, Nick? You were high on this team, and I want to give you your case. South Carolina, they go 4-4 in the conference, 8-4 overall. But the story of South Carolina is not how they began the season; it's how they ended it. South Carolina, in back-to-back weeks, beat up 2 top 10 teams. Actually, it was 2 top 5 teams. Tennessee was number 5. No, Clemson was number 8 when they played them. So
it's the first time in program history they did that, though.
I mean, Tennessee game was never close. They beat Tennessee 63-38. I mean, yeah, you talk about just embarrassing.
The kind of loss that eliminated Tennessee from the playoff. Like, because you're sitting there looking at, like, they're 10-2. If they played that game just a little bit tighter, or obviously won that game,
they're probably
right
6.
there in the playoff. Right.
Yeah, they're probably at. I think if they win, they're number 5 right now, and all they need is TCU or USC to lose. Or there's a good chance Tennessee could be 4, instead of USC. And then Clemson. I mean, to win at your rival who you haven't beaten since 2013, and then rush their field after you do it.
I've never seen that. Have you seen that before?
Yes. So Clemson has a tradition where, and a lot of people don't like it because Clemson has had a massive home winning streak where after every game, they go on the field and they celebrate.
Storm the field, yeah.
They do their own version of storming the field, but it's a school tradition that they do, and so the ACC and the NCAA doesn't find them. However, though, in order to have that, they have to offer the same tradition to the away team. So the away team, if they win, they are allowed to rush the field as well, and that's how they get to do it. So South Carolina rushed the field afterward, and it was hilarious. And if you look on the field, like you see a few Clemson people, like celebrate, like seeing their kids and everything. But yeah, it was something to behold. Like I didn't see that coming. Like we were at Innisfree watching that game, and I'm like, whoa, like didn't see that one coming.
I hate to be that guy, but I totally did. I called this. I called it completely. I mean, like
you did.
South Carolina's over/under win-loss. I took it. It was 6.5 this year. They ended up at 8 with a potential bowl game. So looking at a potential 9-win season. So you're looking at a team that has Spencer Rattler, who was benched at Oklahoma, transferred, tried to get some playing time, and he just looks like he's playing out of his mind in the last 2 weeks. But I mean, I don't know how much of that is Spencer Rattler going off, or how much it's just South Carolina's a decent football program. Like, they got a really good coach, a really young coach that gets the fans excited. And they're in a potential spot here to have a 9-win season for the first time in, I think, 11 years. So really, really exciting for them. I give them a B+, A-. Like
I'm
really
going to go C. I'm going to go C+. And they saved themselves, but I can't excuse a 48-7 loss to Georgia. I can't excuse a 23-10 loss to Missouri, and I can't excuse a 38-6 loss to a Florida team that lost to Vanderbilt. Like, that's bad.
Yeah, I mean, so that's kind of the crazy thing about this, though. You win those games, the ones you're supposed to win.
They're a 10-win team.
They're a 10-win team, and they're sitting there right there where Tennessee is, kind of having an argument.
So so let's give them this. So Arkansas was good in the beginning of the year when they were healthy. I can excuse that. It was at Arkansas week 2. I can excuse a little bit of week 3, like 48-7. That's an ass kicking. And then they go on a little bit of winning streak. They, in no doubt in my mind, they should beat Missouri. They're a better team than Missouri. And then this year, they're a better team than Florida. And then, so they're sitting there 10-2. They're probably a top 10 team, Nick. And you were right on the money. I was Like, I thought they were going to get blown out by Tennessee. I thought they were going to get blown out by Clemson. But I give them a C+, fringe B-. Fringe B-.
If they win one of those games that they were supposed to, Missouri, and if they're a 6.5 win over under, and they end up with 10 wins at the end of the year, potential bowl. Like if they did beat that Missouri team the way they were supposed to, this is 100% like a home run. Year for them, and they probably extend Shane Beamer 6 years. Like that's how good of a year it is.
You were high on him, and I was not. All right, so we're gonna do let's do 3 more teams. So let's go ahead and get the elephant out of the room. Let's talk about our team. Alabama finishes second in the SEC West. They go 6-2 in SEC play, 10-2 overall. There is a miracle chaos shot that Bama makes the playoffs, but honestly, don't hold your breath. We're probably going to the Sugar Bowl or the Orange Bowl, which that means I get to spend New Year's Eve in either Miami or New Orleans. I could think of worse places. I gotta give this team, I give a B+. This team is so good on paper, but on the field they are just not fun to watch. Unless you're Bryce Young. Bryce Young is worth the price of admission. I would say he was the second best quarterback in the country this year behind Caleb Williams. I think Caleb Williams was better. I think Caleb Williams is going to win a Heisman as long as he does what he needs to do against Utah this week. Even Hendon Hooker. I even thought when Hendon Hooker was healthy, Bryce Young is still better. Definitely better than CJ Stroud, who I think is the most overrated quarterback in the country. There's so much talent on this team, and a lot of it goes to coaching. I think it's a mentality of coaching this year. This offense was just not fun to watch unless Bryce was making plays. We didn't utilize our weapons, especially Gibbs and McClellan. I think our wide receivers were a little lackluster this year as well. Our defense, I mean, guys, what happened to our pass rush? Like, what happened? Like, I remember that A&M game and that Arkansas game where
Will Anderson in coverage. That's what happened.
And it's insane. Like, there was the A&M game, and I'm like, oh man, look at this pass rush. Like, look at this package, this cheetah package we have with Dallas Turner and Braswell and Will Anderson, and no one can stop it. And then we just stopped doing it. It's time to clean.
Will finished first in the SEC with sacks. With 10 and 17 tackles for loss.
He did. And and here's the thing. Like, Will Anderson was getting double teamed a lot. But there were games where Will Anderson like just disappeared. At Tennessee was definitely one of them. And it showed. I think this year is just rough. It just doesn't happen often. Like, look, a 2-loss season is nothing to hang your hat on, but it's still a little disappointing because this team was, a drive away from winning a national championship last year. A lot of it.
Yeah, I mean, one 2-point conversion stop and one missed field goal away from being like undefeated right now, sitting in the driver's seat
going to Atlanta. And even if they lose in Atlanta, they probably still make the playoffs or vice versa. But I give this team a B+. Without Bryce Young, this team would be a 4-loss team. They would have lost to Texas. They would have lost to Tennessee. They would have lost to LSU. And honestly, they probably would have trying to like think back on other games they would have lost. I think they probably would have lost to Auburn this past week. Bryce made a lot of
Bryce Young was magic this year. Yeah, he was magic. He finally looks healthy. That's kind of the other aspect of this.
Ole Miss too. Ole Miss as well.
Ole Miss.
So we're potentially a 4 or 5 loss team without Bryce Young this year. So thank God the injury wasn't nearly as severe as we thought it was or could have been. But yeah, I will enjoy New Year's Six ball.
Houston.
I really kind of want him to go to Detroit and link up with JMO.
Well, it's either he goes to Houston and links up with Mechie, or goes to Detroit and links up with JMO. Both teams are tanking and looking for a QB.
I will say this: Detroit is fun. That's a fun team right now. They have a good running back. Their coaches are young and actually played in the NFL. They have some guys, and honestly, I'm like looking at that division. I think
not a great division.
It's not a really good division.
Not a great division.
If Kirk Cousins is the best quarterback in that division, it's up for grabs. No offense.
Bryce Young.
No, that's true though. That's really true.
If Bryce Young goes to Detroit, I'm gonna find a bridge.
If Bryce Young goes to Detroit and he links up, I mean, they're definitely a 7-8 win team next year for sure.
So Detroit currently has the 13th pick in the NFL draft and the 3rd pick in the NFL draft because they control the Rams pick for this Stafford trade. So there's a legit shot.
They could definitely trade up for one. That's for sure. I'm gonna give Bama a B though.
Okay.
Some weird injuries in this year. I think again it plays towards the hype around this team, kind of very similar to Texas A&M. You know, you're world beaters. You're supposed to be the best team Nick Saban's ever had, and you struggle against Texas A&M. Then you lose to Tennessee and LSU. I mean, granted, both of those games came down to the last play. Flip of a coin, kind of those kind of games. So I don't necessarily fault. I think there's definitely a lot to be desired as far as coaching concerns, like you said that. So I'm going to go with B. I mean, just unbelievably talented team that just kind of didn't – the pieces didn't fall where they needed to.
Yeah. Vaughn?
I'm going to go with a C+.
Ooh, C+.
And a lot of it has to do with the coaching. We've got to take a long look at our wide receiver.
Let me ask you a question. If Bill O'Brien was not employed at Alabama at this point, at the time of recording, how would your grade change?
I mean, he still coached the season, but he's not.
No, I'm saying, but if I'm looking at it at the sense of
C+.
we actually might have him next year, and that's going to suck.
We're not going to have him next year.
I'm
willing to bet a lot of money on that, Nick.
I'm willing to bet a lot of money too, but it's kind of shocking that he hasn't yet. That's all I'm saying.
I think Georgia Tech.
He's not even being considered.
He's still
for a lot of jobs.
He's the lead candidate for the Georgia Tech job right now.
He's already hired. Georgia Tech already hired a guy.
Yeah, Georgia Tech already hired a guy yesterday.
And Cincinnati's not considering him.
No, Tulane. The Tulane coach didn't leave.
Interim coach.
Oh, are they? After the Tulane guy backed out.
Yeah.
Which you know what? I think Tulane is a better job than Georgia Tech right now.
100%.
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tulane is looking to make a jump into a major conference, and I put them in SEC.
Kick out Missouri.
Bring them back.
Kick out Missouri. Bring back Tulane. I want it, and then I want LSU versus Tulane every year in the Superdome. That would
be so electric.
Louisiana would burn down to the ground. All right, let's go over our last two teams. The teams that are actually going to be in the SEC championship. Let's start with the defending national champions, the Georgia Bulldogs. They're 8-0. They're 12-0 on the season. I mean, you can't give this team anything other than an A+. They are the best team in the country. I think it's easy. You watch them on TV, and they're just better than you. Stetson Bennett is playing out of his mind this year. I actually kind of think he might get invited to New York for the Heisman. He won't win it, but I think he'll get invited.
Because you take a look at the best team in the country for sure. Yeah.
So if you take a look at it, Caleb Williams from USC will get invited. I think Hendon Hooker will get invited as an honorary because he got hurt, but he had a great year. He did have a great year.
He had a great year. He's not going to get invited.
I think he'll get.
If you're going to invite him, you got to invite Bryce Young.
Bryce is going to go anyways because he's last year's winner and he's a current player, so he'll be there anyways. So the Drake May has had a rough couple games, the last couple games, so I don't think he's in it anymore. I think you invite CJ Stroud, you invite Blake Corum from Michigan, and then I think Stetson makes the cut. I think
Stetson would be your sixth player in that spot.
Bryce doesn't count as a spot. He'll just be there.
I know, but if he was up for back-to-back, he would count as a spot.
He's not up for back-to-back.
That's what I'm saying. You're not going to invite Hendon Hooker, who has a torn ACL. He's going to be limping everywhere, and not invite Bryce Young.
No, Bryce.
The whole reason Bryce Young isn't because he had that 3-game stretch where he couldn't play. Really.
Well,
he missed one game, but he was hurt. He played hurt for the other two.
Yeah. All right. We'll see. That comes out Monday, so we'll see. But I think Stetson's he's gonna get in. You got to give him an A+. I think. Yeah. I think they are going to not spoilers for everyone. I think they're going to beat the hell out of LSU this week.
It's not even going to be close.
I don't think this game's going to be close. I'm taking Georgia money line all day. This is the time of year where Georgia turns it on, because we watched Georgia up until the Tennessee game, we were like, man, Georgia could really get caught here. They turned it on. They tried. Like, and I'll put it like this, and it's going to sound really bad coming from a Bama fan, but like, I know last year when Bama went into the SEC championship game, there was a lot of doubt, but we just had guys. Like, we had JMO, we had Mechie, B-Rob was killing people. And it just seemed like a different team. I think if Bama played Georgia this year, I think we lose by 2 touchdowns.
Speaking of B-Rob, real quick, have y'all seen the big hats?
Big hats,
Yes,
baby.
The
Those
big hats.
are so like.
Freaking love that.
If they were $125, I would buy one.
Oh, God.
They're
Big
that
hat.
much?
Big hat,
They're
big price.
$75 for like a base one, $125 if you want it customized.
Jeez.
That's
Okay.
insane.
All right,
Okay.
Nick, what are you going? You going A?
Yeah, no, I mean, you have to go A. Best team in the country, number one. Haven't lost a game. I think they've been exposed, to a certain extent that they were not exposed last year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you give A+ last year, national champions, I think you got to give them A this year because I think there are some cracks in there that they were able to. Some lesser teams were able to kind of expose the schemes a little bit, but I mean, they're 12-0, 8-0 in the conference. Seems like they're just going to beat the hell out of anybody they play at this point in the year, so you got to give them an A.
Okay. And then Bond, I'm assuming A as well.
Yeah, I would go A+, except Missouri, as Nick said, kind of showed some cracks, especially in the defensive line. As much as I hate to say it, they're going to repeat.
They're going to have even a better chance to go 3 straight next year. That team is going to be as good next year.
Here's the thing. I think Michigan can give Georgia a run for their money. I do.
That is the only team that can beat Georgia this year.
I think you watch the way that Michigan bullied Ohio State with all those weapons on offense that they have, and they just basically made Ohio State quit.
Yeah.
If you watch it, and that's without Blake Corum, who will be back. But
that's the kind of team that Georgia is too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That will just beat the hell out of you until you quit.
And you don't think Michigan has had Georgia on that schedule since they got beat last year in the Orange Bowl?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Look, Bond, I will give you credit for this because I told Nick this the other night too. We were watching the basketball game. You called Purdue making the Big Ten championship, by the way.
I did have them winning the Big Ten West.
I know. So, and then you actually picked Purdue to win it.
Yeah, I did.
So there's a legit shot, Nick, that Bond called Purdue winning the Big Ten championship, which is absolutely insane. So if it happens, we're gonna clip it because that's absolutely insane. Because what we'll do, we'll go back to the Mel Tucker show and we'll just clip that for sure. All right,
can we talk about how you curse that man?
No, I don't want to talk about it. Look, Mel, I'm so sorry. Like, if this is my fault, I'm very sorry. I really am. You're a great guy. Like, I did not mean to do this.
Not a great football coach, though, apparently.
Hey, you watch him out. We're a pro Mel Tucker podcast.
I love Mel Tucker. He's a Saban guy.
All right. And the last one, the Bayou Cats, the LSU Tigers, currently sitting 14. They are 6-2 in the SEC, 9-3 overall. One of us actually picked LSU to be good this year, but I picked them to finish second in the SEC West, not first. But a ballsy 2-point conversion and an awful, game by Bill O'Brien and P. Golding showed up again, and Bama loses on the last play of the game. I gotta give LSU an A. I do. I think they exceeded expectations to a lot of people. I think Jaden Daniels, who I've been trying to tell you for years, is good, and he's good. He's a good quarterback. Don't lie. Look what he did. He's good. So, and he might come back for another year, Nick, by the way, which sucks.
He's the 5th best quarterback in the SEC.
5th?
5th.
No.
Yes.
Bryce.
Yes.
Hendon.
Yep.
Stetson.
Yep.
Who am I forgetting?
Spencer Rattler.
No. I would take Jaden.
No, be serious.
Dude, stop.
KJ. I would take KJ over him.
No, absolutely not. I would no.
What?
No, I would take KJ's in my top 5, but no, I take Jaden Daniels if I'm going Bryce
Do
1.
you think Jaden Daniels could go 30 for 38 against Tennessee's defense?
No, he wouldn't have to. He could run for another 150. That's his game.
I'm just saying he's not capable. So he's a great running back, not a great quarterback.
Oh, really? He's not a good quarterback.
Put him in the Wildcat. See what happens.
Okay, I think he's the third best quarterback in the SEC this year. I think he's third. I think it's Bryce Hendon and him.
No chance.
100%.
No chance.
100%. Anyways, yeah, I got to give them an A. They exceeded all expectations. I thought they were a year early. Say what you want about Brian Kelly. He finally won the big game. If they screwed it up, because if they would have pulled off an upset against Georgia, they're the first 2-loss team to make the college football playoff.
Mm-hmm.
And man, it's rough. I mean, they should have dominated that game last week against A&M. Just a bad performance. Looking a week ahead.
Definitely. Probably preparing a week ahead too. No kidding.
Probably.
Practicing for Georgia.
So I give them an A-. They lost to Florida State. They lost. They got beat down by Tennessee, but they did beat Bama, and they did beat Ole Miss, and they did win the SEC West. So I got to give them an A-.
I'll tell you this, and this is where I'm going to be nice to them. If you run that Florida State game back right now, they blow them. They run them off the field. It's not close. So
new coach, new quarterback, neutral site
new
game.
System, completely new offense.
And that game, dude, being at that game was 70% Florida State, by the way.
Oh yeah, and it might as well have been a home game for Florida State. It was tons.
Yeah, which I would say Florida State was a good team this year. I mean, they're top 15
for sure. No, they're a good team, but I'm saying like the way the trending happened. I mean, obviously, take away that game last week. I mean, they're trending upward. They've been trending upwards ever since Alabama. Mm-hmm. Like they keep just beating the shit out of teams, even after the Alabama game. Can't say that about Tennessee, you know. So, got to give it credit to the coaching staff. I mean, I have to eat shit on this. I have to. I thought Bill O'Brien was going to be a 3-year guy at LSU. They were going to get rid of him, and it doesn't really look
Brian
like
Kelly.
It. Brian Kelly, excuse me. Who did I say?
Bill O'Brien.
Yeah, no, not him. I thought Brian Kelly was going to be a 3-year guy at LSU, and he's just not. Like, he's a good coach. He just needed to get out from under the restraints that was Notre Dame and how they recruited, and how their school was set up and stuff. So yeah, good. I mean, full credit to him. I didn't think it would work, but it did, and they're going to be a really, really good team next year. On top of that,
they are. They're killing it with recruiting. They're getting some studs.
Giving them an A, by the way. I didn't say that.
You give them an A. All right. So Bond, I'm assuming A, B+. Yeah. I don't know. You're the hard grader on this show right now.
I'm gonna go A. Well, actually, no. B. I will go B+. You can't lose to A&M, dog. You just can't.
That's fair.
That's true. That is true.
All right. That's fair. All right. So that's it for our little, end of semester grades. I'm sad it's over, guys.
Did this season feel like it flew by?
Yes.
Like, so fast.
Much.
I don't know about you guys. I love college football. It's my favorite sport, absolutely, bar none. There are times in the year, though, in previous years where I'm just a little bit footballed out, where I'm just like, man, I just really need a relaxing weekend. No, I don't want to watch. This, I never even got that one time. It was it got stuff, and I was like, wow, week 12, it's over. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's rough. I'm pretty sad about it, to be honest. But it was a fantastic football season. Like, there are a lot of out of nowheres, and obviously next week we'll do our season review and kind of go over everything. But
bowl picks, got to get bowl picks.
But before we're doing bowl picks, guys, we are doing conference champion picks using the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today and bet $5 on any team and win $200 in free bets when you bet your conference champion. I am going Georgia over LSU in the SEC championship this weekend in Atlanta. Make sure you download the DraftKings Sportsbook app using promo code BOOT. That's BOOT. DraftKings Sportsbook app, the official sponsor of the Oxford podcast. Haven't done it in a couple of weeks, so I'm glad I kind of nailed that one down.
Nailed it.
All right, so
let's start us off, though.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. We got to start with the big one in Atlanta, Georgia versus LSU. I definitely didn't see this one coming in the beginning of the season, but here we are. Right now, Georgia opening up as a 17.5-point favorite. I got to go Georgia, and I don't think this game is close. I think Georgia is just too good. I think they're too prepared. This team right now, I think, is on a mission to repeat. They would be the first repeat college football champions in the playoff era. I'm going Georgia to cover. I do think LSU puts up a few points, but I think by that time, I think it's too late. I think Georgia just beats them into submission. So I'm gonna go Georgia 45, LSU 17.
What's the over-under on this game?
I believe it's 51.5.
51.5 on 17. Damn. I'm giving LSU's defense a lot of credit there. I'm actually going to go over here. I think LSU is going to be able to score on this defense. They will be able to move the ball. It just won't be enough. 17.5 is a ton in a conference game, especially if we're assuming that great, LSU coaching staff has been preparing for Georgia for, 2 weeks now. So I think they're going to come out and firing on all cylinders. I mean, they're going to try and go in there and win this game, SEC champions for, in the first year as a head coach there. So I'm going to go with the over because I think LSU keeps it close, but I'm not necessarily willing to bet LSU yet. So I'm just going to take the over.
Nick, do you know the last coach to win the SEC championship of his first year?
Urban Meyer?
Gus Malzahn.
Wow.
2013 Auburn.
Shit.
Yeah.
Wow. Urban Meyer didn't do it?
He did it in his second year, 06.
There you go.
Yeah, 05 was – who was 05? Was that Georgia? Yeah, it was Georgia. Georgia that
That's
year.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right. Bond, who you going with, bud?
I'm praying to whatever football god there is that
Don't do it.
LSU wins just so that the Georgia fans I'm friends with shut the hell up.
They're making the
But it's
playoff
not-
anyways, though.
It doesn't matter.
It's right, but they need to be humbled.
Just lose LSU. That's
Right.
fair.
But yeah, Georgia.
Who's worse,
Again,
though? LSU fans or Georgia fans?
LSU fans.
Oh no,
LSU fans are way
No,
worse.
here's the thing.
both of those fan bases are fine.
Yeah.
Tennessee fans are the bad ones.
They
Tennessee
are.
fans are awful.
But you
If
know what's
you're
going to be great?
If you're a Tennessee fan listening to this show, I hate you on Twitter. Your
Turn
fan
it
base is
off.
the worst.
You're not worthy to listen to this show.
But if you do, use promo code BOOT.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going. All right, so we're all in. I'm going Georgia. Nick also going Georgia, and then Bond is.
I'm taking the over.
Georgia
I'm not
cover
taking
and
17
over.
and a half.
Okay. All right,
Yeah,
let's
I
go.
am not laying 17 and a half against LSU.
All right, let's go Friday night's game. Number 11 Utah playing number 4 USC. USC wins this game. They're in. However, though, USC's one loss is to this Utah team. And it was a great game. It was at Utah. The atmosphere was electric. I don't think Utah can do it twice in a row. I don't think they can beat them twice in 1 year.
Yes.
I got USC winning this game. I think this is going to be a very close game, but I think Caleb Williams wins the Heisman, wins the Pac-12, and gets USC in the college football playoff. I'm going to go USC 35, Utah 28.
What's the spread?
Right now, it is USC minus 2.5, and the over/under
Yeah.
67.5.
Root for chaos. Root for chaos.
Root for chaos, but if you want to win money,
Utah and the under. Utah and the under. That's your play.
The only way Utah can pull this off is if they just bleed the clock, run the ball, keep Caleb Williams and Lincoln Riley's offense off the field, and have your defense make enough stops, which is what they did the last time. But
Yeah,
they're
wasn't
not
the
gonna
score like 44-43 last game?
It was
or, like,
it was
the time they played
nuts.
before?
It was
crazy
nuts.
game.
It was, and it took a lot for them to even come back. But Cam Rising, good college quarterback. They have the running backs. They have the offensive line. It's if their defense can step up enough and stop Caleb Williams.
Utah. I want
All
it.
right. Ooh,
Root
okay.
for chaos.
I root for chaos. I'm just realistic.
It is very difficult to beat a team twice in a year. And the CUSC team has been looking good the last couple weeks. I think they finally found the rhythm, so I got to take USC here.
right.
Do we know what the line is?
It's USC minus 2.5.
2.5.
Oh yeah, take that.
All right,
I think they win by 3 exactly.
All right. So the first game on Championship Saturday, 11 a.m. kickoff. Number 10 Kansas State, number 3 TCU. This TCU team has come out of nowhere. A lot of people picked them to finish like almost last in the Big 12.
I'm pretty sure I had them finishing last on the Big 12.
I think I did too. I think I was like, you know what? I think this is the year Kansas doesn't finish last. And then I think I was like TCU, or like I don't really know about them. They have exceeded everyone's expectation. I don't even think TCU like homers expected TCU to be number 3 and 12-0 and going into the last week of the college football season. However, though, I think
all 7 of them were very, very shocked by the outcome.
However, though, I think this is where the storybook ending ends. I have Kansas State upsetting TCU this week.
Chaos.
I know this is chaos, but I also think too is TCU has scraped by the skin of their teeth it seems like every game. So, for example, at SMU, week 3, 42-35. At Kansas, 38-31. Oklahoma State, 43-40. They did beat Kansas State 38-28. And then they escaped Texas Tech. They beat Texas 17-10. They beat Baylor 29-28. And then they routed Iowa State. This team can win close games, but I'm ready to see if they get punched in the mouth. Can they come back from a 14-point lead, a 20-point lead? Like, I think Kansas State can do this. So I'm going to go Kansas State plus 2.5, and I'm taking the over 62 in this game. I think this game is going to be a shootout.
Yep, shootout. I'm doing the same exact thing. I'm taking Kansas State in the over. This is shootout written all over it. TCU's offense is actually really, really, really good.
It's really good.
A lot of people are like, oh, they're hitting big plays. It's nothing but big plays. They're not consistent. They're consistently hitting big plays.
Yeah.
Like
they're the best Big Ten.
Dotting it down the field.
Yeah.
It is bomb after bomb after bomb, and the receivers are just open all the time. The quarterback's playing unbelievable this year. With that being said, though,
in big plays.
I think you nailed this game so correctly. I think Kansas State jumps on them early. TCU fights back, ends up like 28-28, 35-28 going into the fourth. And it's just a nuclear bomb goes off in that.
I can't wait to watch this game.
Crazy happen. Yeah, this game is going to be a lot of fun.
This will be the most fun game of the day. 100%. I think this game is like, it's going to be like a 45-42 game. 49-45. Like this game is going to be insane.
What's the over under again?
62.
62. Yeah, over.
See, I want to root for chaos in this game. I think it's time TCU gets exposed here, and I like this Kansas State team. So I'm going to go Kansas State.
All right, there we go. All right, so
root for chaos.
All right, so I want to talk about one of my favorite teams this year to watch, and they're playing in the AAC championship. I'm talking Tulane, 18 in the country, 10-2, going up against 22nd ranked UCF. This game is in New Orleans, is at Tulane. Tulane favored by -4. I have loved this Tulane team all year. Spears, their running back, is fantastic. Over 1,000 yards, 14 touchdowns. I'm going Tulane. I think the home crowd does it. Roll, wave, roll. And I want Tulane to somehow get put into the Sugar Bowl. I know that they can't unless something happens where the bowl committee is like, hey, we're going to do this. This will be a great home draw for you. But Tulane will be your AAC champion, and they will go to a New Year's Six Bowl. Because they win, they go. So right. I want this for them. Their coach said that that he's staying at the program, not going to Georgia Tech. Love that. I think Tulane is on their way up. Give me Tulane in this game, -4, and I'm going to go over 56.5.
Yeah, Tulane and over as well. I think this is another shootout type of environment. Home crowd, though, and Tulane, I think that's kind of disrespectful for them to be -4. They've been a really, really good team this year. They're 10-2. True. But I mean, like
38-31.
we've said, it's hard to beat a team twice. I mean, and that's what makes me so nervous about that Utah game is I think kind of USC has a chance to just blow them out in that game. But Tulane would be like 8-4, 9-3 if they were in like the SEC East. Like they would be. They're very, very good. They're better than Mississippi State. They're better than Ole Miss. They're better than Arkansas, and they're better than A&M. So if you have those 4 wins and then you play one of your other games, so they're an 8-4, 9-3 team in the SEC West this year, 100%.
I think
they're a very, very good football team.
I think if you put them in the ACC, Coastal, I 100% think they would be representing in the ACC championship game this year against Clemson.
They really do need to make a jump to another conference,
and I think they will.
That program
has
a chance to really do something.
I think they'll end up in the Big 10 or Big 12 somehow. They will.
I could see that too.
All right, let's go to the Big 10 championship game. So there's 2 night games. Let's go ahead and start with the Big 10 one. Number 2 Michigan, 12-0, 9-0 in the Big 10. And then, of course, the dumpster fire on the other side, Purdue 8-4, somehow getting their way in to go to Indianapolis for the first time ever. Good for them. But I got Michigan winning this game easy. I don't even think this game is going to be remotely close. Michigan -17. I'm going under 52.
That's crazy that Michigan is favored less than what Georgia is over LSU. Isn't that nuts?
I actually, it kind of is.
And here's the weird.
And it's, I don't know why.
Give me Purdue to keep it close. That line doesn't make sense to me. That should be like.
You think Vegas knows something?
That should be like 24-25 easily because Purdue's not good. And maybe they're just calling it a championship like factor. And maybe it's like they're thinking Michigan's going to be in a look ahead spot. Or so, I don't know. There's something weird about that.
I'm going to say back for that.
Yeah. No, he's out. He's out.
I don't think
that's probably why.
I don't think
but
so.
JJ is friggin' just as good.
Corum's the running back.
People forget he was fighting for the starting job last year.
No, Blake Corum's the running back.
Oh, my bad. What were we talking about? Okay, sorry. I thought we were talking about quarterbacks. My bad.
No. I don't think so. I don't think Blake's coming back for this game. I think he can possibly
if he's
be
smart,
back.
He wouldn't wait for postseason.
No, of course not. I mean, I think this team can win without him. I mean, they won the Michigan or the Ohio State game without him. I don't know. This line's weird, but I'm going Michigan. I think this is just kind of a weird line for Vegas. So yeah, give me Michigan -17. I'm going under 52. I think this game is. I see Michigan winning this game like 42-13. Honestly.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Purdue in the under as well.
Well, actually, no. I hope it's not 42-13. Then I bust.
I was going to say that was over.
Yeah, never mind. Keep it close, Michigan. All right, and then the last championship game. I will actually be at this one for work. Clemson, number 9 in the country. Don't know how they're number 9. They're not a top 10 team. Going up against 9-3 North Carolina, ranked 23rd. Clemson favored -7.5. Over under 63.5. Man, I don't like this game at all.
This game is disgusting.
I don't like it. I don't like the line. I don't like the over-under. Drake May is, I think, fantastic, and I can't wait to see where he transfers next year. I don't think Clemson can score that much. But I am going to go over. I'm going to go over 63 because North Carolina can put up points, and I feel like Clemson can make enough big plays. I'm going to go UNC +7.5.
Great
but
bet.
I think Clemson wins the ACC championship game, and I think they go to the Orange Bowl. But I think UNC keeps this game close. I think this is going to be a shootout.
And Clemson wins by 3, but North Carolina covers 7.5.
Yeah.
I think that line is only like that because Drake May really hasn't had that great of a game in the recent bit. I mean, if Clemson wins out, they were vying for a playoff spot. This line could be anywhere from 12, 13, 14. And I think that's the spot that you want to pick where you're taking North Carolina +7.5. Because I think people are going to try and trick themselves into thinking, oh, yeah, Clemson's definitely going to cover 7.5. They're not. UNC +7.5. That's your bet. This game is disgusting, though. I don't even know if I want to watch this game. It's going to be so gross. This is not going to be good football. Vaughn, what you think, buddy?
Oh, I want UNC plus 7.5 and give me the under.
Okay.
I don't think this is going to be a shootout. I think this is going to be a defense-heavy game because
All right.
DJ sucks.
He's not good. I think Cade's going to play in this game, as he should. All right, so I want to bring in Wyatt from the cave, and I want him to give a quick rundown of his conference champion picks. All right, Wyatt, lightning round. USC, Utah. Who you going?
USC.
All right, Kansas State, TCU.
TCU.
Ooh, all right, LSU, Georgia.
Georgia.
All right, UCF, Tulane.
Tulane, baby.
Roll wave. All right, Purdue, Michigan.
Michigan, but Purdue keeps it close.
Ooh, spicy.
I'm taking.
So are you taking? So are we picking spread here? Are you taking Michigan minus 17? With that saying?
No, I'm saying
He's taking money line.
17. I'd take money line on that.
You just okay.
All right, and then to wrap it all up, Clemson, North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Wow. Okay, there we go. All right,
Josh
Wyatt.
Downs and Drake May are going to be our future first round picks.
It's not wrong.
That is true.
Mhm. Especially when they both come to Bama next year. It's gonna be great.
It'll be phenomenal.
All right, so let's leave it at that. Wyatt's staying here because we're gonna end the show on something else. Before we do, Christmas is right around the corner, and make sure you get your gifts at Christopher Mobley. Christopher Mobley, fantastic luxury apparel. They have collegiate, they have athletic wear, anything for your winter needs. They have it. Make sure you use promo code CRUISE at checkout for 15% off your first order. They're fantastic. We rep them all the time. Christopher Mobley, join the mob. All right. We have to address the craziness that is the coaching carousel. Matt Rule at Nebraska. A lot of people saw that one coming, but the real one I want to talk about is Hugh Freeze is now back in the SEC, and he is at Auburn. Wow. I didn't see this one coming. I really didn't.
This might be the most divisive hire for a single fan base of this offseason.
There are legitimately people that are threatening to pull their donations from Auburn because of this hire. That's crazy.
They had to hire a PR firm to handle the backlash.
That's insane.
So here's the thing, and I know it's probably not the right thing to do, but I feel like it would have been the most popular / beloved. I would have hired Cadillac.
Oh, 100%.
If you look at that Auburn team, the way they ended this year and the way they played in the Iron Bowl and the way the players get up for them and the fact that the Bama coaching staff and the Bama players showed Cadillac respect at the end of the game, that's a head football coach in the making. That is a guy who is going to come in and change life somewhere. And I thought he could have done a great job at Auburn, especially in recruiting. But I think Hugh Freeze keeping him on staff was very important. I thought that was actually a really good move on his part. But if I'm Auburn, I would have signed Cadillac for cheap. I would give him 2 to 3 years, give him a fair shot, because the fight in that team was completely different. And I think Cadillac would have gone out and would have gotten a really good staff. I really feel that way. Hugh Freeze, I think Hugh Freeze was a desperation, scared hire because they didn't get Lane Kiffin, they didn't get Dion, and I think that was just we got to do something. Well, he's beaten Saban, so let's get him.
Here's my issue with the Hugh Freeze hire, and it all kind of culminates into one thing, right? They tried to go for a splash hire after firing Gus Malzahn. After going 8-4, I think he averaged 8 or 9 wins a year at Auburn.
Beat Bama multiple times.
He was, tricky on offense, completely revitalized Auburn's offense. So they needed a splash hire after firing him, ended up with Brian Harsin 10 spots down the list. Fire him, they had to go for a big name. If they didn't, they were really risking the brand of Auburn not being a big football program. So then they go and try and get Lane. That doesn't work out, whether that's because of like Auburn saying you can't use Twitter anymore and Lane Kiffin saying no. I don't know what that is.
I think that was just a Hugh Freeze type thing.
It may have been just a Hugh Freeze type thing because a lot of his stuff kind of comes from using Twitter incorrectly. When Lane Kiffin's kind of a king at it. So
he's a king troll.
He's the best. He is the best. So I think it was such a, you called it a desperation hire to hire a guy that, is a big name. And it just completely blew up in their face. They could have been everyone's darling next year with Cadillac Williams.
Oh my gosh.
100% been everybody's favorite coach in the SEC. Shane Beamer type level of shit. Everybody likes him. It'd be hard for me to dislike him.
Here's the thing. I really like Cadillac as the head coach, the passion he brings and the way the players got up for him, the way they finished the season. I mean, guys, they were beating us in the Iron Bowl. They were keeping it close. Like they went down the field and first drive of the game and just dominated us. And I'm like, that was perfectly scripted. And Robbie Ashford is this young gun quarterback who, if he gets some coaching, can do something like a Nick Marshall level kind of guy. And I just don't think that Hugh Freeze is this answer. I think what they should have done, they should have waited till after bowl season. They should have seen who's on the open market, and then you assess. But at the end of the day, they could have got Cadillac for cheap. Players would have loved to come back for him and play for him. And I think that's it. I think this team messed up pretty big. I would be more scared of Auburn had they kept Cadillac than what they are now.
Yeah, recruiting is such a big thing. And if you're sitting there, you got Hugh Freeze with everything that's been in the media about him. And you got, a kid and his mom sitting across the table. Who are you going to send your kid? Okay, enjoy your 4 years of college, looking at Hugh Freeze and him telling you, you can trust me. Like, that affects recruiting a lot more than what people think it does. And I don't know if they're going to be able to, I could be wrong. I was wrong about LSU. I don't know if he's going to be able to recruit at a high level anymore. He's a great on-the-field coach. I think a great X's and O's guy. But I just don't think you can build a program anymore with that guy.
Yeah, I don't either. All right.
I want to ask this question really quick, Cruz. You said wait till bowl season, see what the open market is.
Mm-hmm.
Early signing day is the big thing now. February is the second thought. It's December. If you wait till after bowl season, early signing day is over. Everyone has made up their mind about where they're going. So signing day is now a lost cause. And Cadillac can't walk into living rooms and say, "Hey, I'm going to be the head coach" until pen is on paper and the announcement has been made. I'm the head coach.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. That is good. I didn't account for that. I will say this though, is that I feel like there's going to be a job opening that a lot of people don't expect, and there's going to be a coach on the open market. But no, you make a really good point, Wyatt. I think that if I'm Auburn and you see the way the players got up for Cadillac, you send that man to any living room in the state of Alabama or Georgia. I don't know how you say no to him. Who's not named Kirby Smart or Nick Saban?
Yeah.
But yeah, so in the last thing I want to touch on for you in the show, Lane Kiffin getting an extension to Ole Miss. Ole Miss
keeping them right where we want them.
Yeah, but here's the thing: Ole Miss ends the season with 3 straight losses, to Bama, to Auburn, and to not Auburn, Arkansas, and Arkansas and Mississippi State in the Egg Bowl. And then there's this whole rumor spill, and you don't know if he's leaving, you don't know if he's staying. Guys, do you think he just used this whole Auburn ploy to just get an extension from Ole Miss? Because that's what I'm starting to believe.
Yes. Well, I think Jimmy Sexton did it. I could totally see Jimmy Sexton pulling that. He plays both sides year in and year out, but I think I don't know if Lane Kiffin could have been as successful at Auburn as other people think that he could have. I think he's a great coach. He's great for a school like Ole Miss that they don't expect a lot. He's going to have a lifetime deal there if he takes them 9-10 wins every year and loses to Alabama and loses the games that he's supposed to. Auburn is a place where it's like you have to compete against Georgia and you have to compete against Alabama, not in the sense of like, recruiting or anything like that. Like you have to at least win one of those games every year, or you're sitting there getting looked at, questioned. And I don't think Lane Kiffin does well under pressure either. And he succeeds in a place where there's not a lot of pressure. There's one spot, where he gets in hot water and he's immediately looking to jump ship. We've seen it time and time again. So I think Lane Kiffin's in a better spot, better situation at Ole Miss than Auburn.
Do you think him holding out for the Alabama job in a couple of years played any factor into that?
No, and I would say the same thing about Lane Kiffin come to Alabama. I think he's my choice to come because I just like the guy, but it's kind of the same deal. Like everybody needs to kind of understand that it's not going to be 12, 13, 14, 15-0 playing for a national championship every year. Lane Kiffin's a guy that can get you 9-10 wins and be in the conversation, and he can win you a game or two, right? I think people need to have that expectation and not put a ton of pressure on him to be the next Nick Saban at Alabama because it's just not going to work out.
No,
I honestly don't think he takes this job.
You think it's too much for him?
I think it would be stupid to go from a program where you can do what you would do at Alabama, 8, 9, 10 win seasons and go to a decent bowl game every year, then go and follow the greatest head football coach of all time.
So the only thing I
have to be the guy that follows him.
So the only thing with that is Lane Kiffin's an ego guy, and you don't think he wants to be the guy who comes in after Nick Saban. And Lane's young. Like Lane can be here for a while. He's
extremely confident that he can at least somewhat replicate the level of success that Saban has had here.
I think he is that confident.
I think he is that confident. Here's the thing. Right now, if Nick Saban like hung it up this year, let's just say in January, he's like, hey, I've done everything I've done. I'm hanging it up. I'm going down as the GOAT. Time to replace me. I think the first three people you call Lane Kiffin, even though I don't care. He just
for sure.
I don't care if he just signed an extension. You call him. You call Dabo Swinney.
Yep.
And I think you call.
Do we really want to pay that much for Dabo though? He has the Alabama clause.
He does, but here's the thing: we're gonna have to buy out Lane.
Well, yeah.
So
buying out Lane is different than buying out Dabo.
And this is gonna be.
Don't hire Dabo, please.
No. I'm not saying hire Dabo. I'm just saying these are the guys who get a call.
No, you don't even call them, dude. You don't even freaking call them.
But
the first three phone calls.
You call, and then you call Kirby Smart. But Kirby's not
leaving Georgia. Kirby's not leaving Georgia.
But he's not. No, but I'm not saying these guys are going to come. I'm just saying these will probably be the top 3 names on their list. And then you have a few outside guys. And this is going to be very unpopular. But I actually think this person would get a call, but he would not take it. I think you call Sean Payton. 100%. I think you call Sean Payton.
I don't hate that. I wouldn't hate Sean Payton.
I don't think Sean Payton would take a college coach. I don't think he wants to recruit. Now, granted,
do you think he would set up an NIL deal where if he injured a college quarterback?
First of all, that was our defensive coordinator, and he's no longer allowed to coach in the NFL. Second of all,
Sean Payton allowed it to happen.
That's a Super Bowl winning coach, Nick. You watch your mouth. I don't think he's going to answer. I think he's having way too much fun on TV and then trolling the Saints online. I think he's going to take an NFL job next year. Let
me ask you a question. Yeah. I want to ask you a question on this. And this is something I've always wondered. There is a breed of football coach, right? One's a college, one is NFL. Do you think that they are mutually exclusive where somebody that succeeds in the NFL can be extremely successful in college? Or do you think that it's two separate breeds and it's like they're very exclusive of each other? My population size there is Nick Saban did not do well in Miami, but is the greatest college football coach of all time.
So
Jim Harbaugh did great in both.
Jim Harbaugh has done well. Pete Carroll has done well in both. Jimmy Johnson has done well in both. Steve Spurrier was awful in the NFL, but he's a great college coach. Nick Saban had the opportunity to do well in the NFL, but the Dolphins did not give him Drew Brees like he wanted. And look what happened there. And I'm trying to think like who else? Bill O'Brien, no. He's coached both.
Bill O'Brien hasn't been good.
Chip Kelly had a little bit of success with the Eagles his first 2 years, and then kind of just went to shit.
I think he enjoys college more though, as well.
Oh yeah. Chip definitely does. I don't think Dabo could be an NFL guy. I don't think he's tough enough. I don't think he's tough enough to coach grown ass men. Kirby Smart, I think, could actually be a decent NFL guy, but like, why would you go to the NFL, get 1 first-round draft pick a year when you're coaching 11 of them on defense alone? I actually think if Saban got a second chance to go back to the NFL, I think he would know what to fix, but I just think he's too old to do it. Yeah, it's tough, but I think Sean Payton, he's young enough, he's smart enough, and if you're a quarterback, why would you not want to go play for Sean Payton? I mean, look what he did with Drew Brees. Look what he did with Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, if you take 2021 away and his worst season, where after Drew Brees left and it was COVID and injuries, like that offense is so much fun to watch. What he could do. But I don't think he'd actually answer the call. I think he would be like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm making like $12 million a year on TV."
Some people love the game, though.
I
think that's why Nick Saban won't ever quit. It's because he just loves it so much.
Okay, here's also a hot take. I think we hire on defense next year as a defensive line coach or a defense or defense coach in general. Bring in Coach O.
Now
I want hype.
I
I want
wouldn't hate
hype
that.
I
That
want
would
hype
be
on my
nuts.
sideline. I want Scott Cochran type energy, and Coach O brings it. Give me Coach O and an Alabama A polo on the sideline next year. I want it.
I need to see that.
How great would that be? Someone who listens to the episode, please give me a Photoshop of Coach O in an Alabama polo holding up 4s.
Oh
I
my
want it.
God.
I want it right now.
I'll
I
make
want
it
it.
my profile picture on Twitter.
I want it
Somebody
right now.
please send that to me.
All right, so I don't think we can end the show any better than that. The thought of Coach O coaching at Alabama on the sidelines as a D-line coach, not as a head coach. Just want to really emphasize that. But that's going to do it for us. We're happy to be back. Only 1 episode this week. We'll be back next week. We're going to probably just keep it at 1 show a week during the holidays. But you can find me online at The Real Cruz Ox on Instagram and Twitter. Make sure you follow all the Oxcord podcasts on all socials. Make sure you're also following Christopher Mobley as well, especially for the holiday season. I'm gearing up for it. And, of course, follow Boot Crew Media because they take care of us.
Yeah, it just covered about everything. So I'm just going to shout myself out at nperkins96. Appreciate it. Bond, let them know what you got.
You can follow me on Twitter at @BondSnow_. And then, as always, go follow the TikTok at Oxford Podcast. We have been steadily gaining. I think we're at like 3,700 right now, so doing pretty well.
Follow me on Twitter at FultonW_, and then follow the podcast account on Twitter at the Oxford Pod.
All right. Well, boom. We love you guys. Happy to be back, and we'll see you next week.